The story begins in the early 2010s, when Tesla burst onto the scene promising to save the world with electric vehicles, while traditional automakers supposedly sat frozen in fear, unable to adapt to the future. The media narrative was crystal clear. Tesla represented innovation and progress, while companies like Toyota were dinosaurs clinging to outdated combustion engines, destined to become the next Kodak or Blockbuster. Wall Street bought into this story completely, sending Tesla's market value soaring past every traditional automaker combined, reaching over $1 trillion at its peak. Meanwhile, Toyota's leadership, particularly Chairman Akio Toyoda, faced relentless criticism for what appeared to be stubborn resistance to the electric revolution, with analysts calling the company's multi-pathway strategy a desperate attempt to avoid inevitable obsolescence. But here's where the story takes its first unexpected turn. While Tesla was busy building gigafactories and promising autonomous robo-taxis, Toyota was quietly accumulating over 8,000 solid-state battery patents and perfecting a manufacturing philosophy that would prove devastatingly effective. The Japanese automaker wasn't resisting the electric future. They were preparing for it in a way that no one understood until it was almost too late for their competitors. Toyota's executives had run the numbers and reached a startling conclusion that contradicted every expert prediction. Electric vehicles would never capture more than 30% of the global market, regardless of technological advances or government mandates. This wasn't wishful thinking from an old-fashioned company. It was a calculation based on real-world constraints that Tesla's cheerleaders refused to acknowledge. The promise of electric vehicles seemed unstoppable in those early years. Tesla convinced millions of Americans that gasoline cars would disappear within a decade, replaced by sleek electric machines that would charge in minutes, drive themselves, and cost less to operate than any vehicle in history. The company's charismatic CEO painted visions of a sustainable future, where every American family would own an electric car, powered by solar panels on their roof, contributing to a decentralized energy grid that would eliminate both pollution and energy dependence forever. Government officials at every level began announcing bans on gasoline vehicle sales, with California leading the charge by mandating that all new cars sold after 2035 must be electric. Billions in subsidies flowed to electric vehicle manufacturers and charging infrastructure companies, while traditional automakers scrambled to announce their own electrification timelines, terrified of being left behind in what seemed like an inevitable transition. But what Americans did not realize was that they were being sold a beautiful lie wrapped in environmental virtue signaling and stock market speculation. The first cracks appeared in Tesla's armor when the company repeatedly missed production targets, forcing CEO Elon Musk to admit that Tesla had entered production hell as their automated assembly lines failed catastrophically. The promised autonomous driving features remained perpetually coming next year, while Tesla's full self-driving software faced federal investigations after numerous accidents. More troubling were the financial realities becoming impossible to ignore. Tesla's automotive gross margins plummeted to 14.6% in 2024, the lowest in 5 years, as the company was forced to implement aggressive price cuts to maintain market share against growing competition from Chinese manufacturers offering electric vehicles at half the price. Meanwhile, Toyota's hybrid strategy was quietly achieving something remarkable that directly contradicted the electric-only narrative. By 2024, hybrids represented 37% of Toyota's total sales, up from just 9% in 2018, generating massive profits while Tesla struggled with declining margins. Toyota's United States hybrid sales surged 66% through June 2024, reaching over 438,000 vehicles, while the company's electric vehicle sales languished at just 15,000 units. These numbers revealed a profound truth that the electric evangelists had missed. American consumers didn't want the complexity, range anxiety, and infrastructure dependence of pure electric vehicles when hybrids offered environmental benefits without the compromises. The economic consequences of the electric vehicle push began cascading through the American economy in ways that few politicians wanted to acknowledge publicly. Ford lost billions on electric vehicle investments and was forced to delay multiple EV projects, while Stellantis suspended electric vehicle production at several facilities. Automotive suppliers announced over 50,000 job cuts in 2024, as demand for electric vehicles fell far short of projections, devastating communities across the Midwest that had invested heavily in electric vehicle supply chains. The charging infrastructure that was supposed to enable widespread EV adoption proved woefully inadequate, with frequent breakdowns, incompatible systems, and massive installation costs that left many Americans stranded with vehicles they couldn't reliably charge away from home. But here's the twist that changes everything. While American automakers were burning through cash trying to catch Tesla, Toyota was developing something called the Area 35 strategy that would revolutionize manufacturing in ways that made Tesla's approach look primitive by comparison. This plan allowed Toyota to increase global factory floor space by 35% without building new facilities, reduce parts complexity by 35%, and boost profits by 3.5%. All while maintaining the flexibility to produce electric hybrid or conventional vehicles on the same production lines based on actual market demand rather than wishful projections. The genius of this approach became apparent when the electric vehicle market slowdown hit in 2024, and Toyota's competitors found themselves stuck with expensive dedicated EV factories producing vehicles that consumers didn't want to buy. The geopolitical implications were even more staggering than the economic ones. China had quietly cornered the global supply chain for lithium-ion batteries and rare earth minerals essential for electric vehicle production, meaning that America's rush toward electrification was essentially handing energy independence to the same country that had already demonstrated its willingness to weaponize supply chains during the COVID pandemic. Toyota's multi-pathway strategy, including hydrogen fuel cell technology and next-generation batteries, offered a path toward energy independence that didn't require complete dependence on Chinese manufacturing and mineral extraction. The company's 27 million hybrid vehicles had already delivered carbon emission reductions equivalent to 9 million electric vehicles without requiring massive infrastructure investments or foreign mineral dependence that made America vulnerable to supply chain manipulation. What happened next will surprise you. In late 2022, Toyota engineers conducted a complete teardown of Tesla's Model Y and were shocked to discover that Tesla had indeed achieved manufacturing innovations that exceeded traditional automotive expertise in certain areas. Rather than panicking or dismissing these advances, Toyota systematically identified which Tesla innovations were worth adopting while maintaining their core strengths in quality, reliability, and production efficiency. This measured response exemplified Toyota's approach. Learn from competitors without abandoning proven advantages that had made them the world's largest automaker. The company announced plans to incorporate Tesla-inspired techniques like gigacasting while developing solid-state batteries that promised 745-mile driving ranges with 10-minute charging times, specifications that would make Tesla's current technology obsolete by the late 2020s. The most revealing indicator of Toyota's strategic success came from an unexpected source: global vehicle sales data that completely contradicted the media narrative about electric vehicle dominance. Toyota's RAV4 reclaimed its position as the world's best-selling vehicle in 2024, outselling Tesla's Model Y, with over 1.18 million units despite being in its final production year. Even more significant was the trend. RAV4 sales grew 11% while Model Y sales declined 3%, suggesting that consumers increasingly preferred practical, reliable vehicles over trendy alternatives that promised more than they could deliver. Tesla's United States electric vehicle market share collapsed from nearly 75% in early 2022 to approximately 46% by mid-2025, despite multiple rounds of desperate price cuts that destroyed the company's legendary profit margins. The financial fortress that Toyota had built through decades of patient strategy became undeniable when compared directly to Tesla's speculative valuation. While Tesla's market capitalization of over $1 trillion suggested massive investor expectations for future growth, Toyota's revenue of $311 billion dwarfed Tesla's $97 billion, achieved while producing 10.8 million vehicles compared to Tesla's 1.77 million. Toyota's net profit margin of 11.27% significantly exceeded Tesla's 7.68%, demonstrating superior operational efficiency despite producing vehicles across multiple technology platforms rather than focusing solely on electric drivetrains. But here's the most important revelation that ties everything together and explains why Toyota's quiet victory matters for every American family. The company's success wasn't just about making better business decisions. It was about understanding something fundamental that the electric vehicle evangelists had forgotten in their rush toward a battery-powered future. Transportation serves people, not the other way around, and the best solutions are those that provide maximum benefit with minimum disruption to how Americans actually live their lives. Toyota's hybrid vehicles eliminated range anxiety, required no charging infrastructure, worked in all weather conditions, and added less than $2,000 to a vehicle's price while delivering genuine environmental benefits. This approach respected consumer choice and practical constraints, rather than demanding that Americans reshape their lives around the limitations of battery technology. The implications for America's economic future are profound and urgent. Toyota's patient, methodical strategy has created sustainable competitive advantages through superior quality, reliability, and cost control that cannot be quickly replicated by competitors chasing quarterly earnings reports and stock market valuations. The company's investment in solid-state battery technology and hydrogen fuel cells positions America's manufacturing partnerships with Toyota for the next phase of automotive evolution. While domestic automakers struggle with overcapacity in electric vehicle production and supply chain dependence on China, Toyota's manufacturing philosophy, emphasizing stability and continuous improvement over disruption and automation experiments, offers a path toward rebuilding American industrial strength that doesn't require massive government subsidies or trade war escalations. The story of how Toyota outsmarted Tesla reveals something essential about innovation and competition that goes far beyond the automotive industry. True strategic advantage comes from playing a different game rather than playing the same game better, understanding customer needs rather than imposing technological solutions, and building sustainable business models rather than chasing speculative valuations. Toyota's triumph demonstrates that patience, discipline, and operational excellence ultimately defeat hype, disruption, and financial engineering, providing a roadmap for American businesses competing against well-funded startups promising to revolutionize everything overnight. The automotive industry's future belongs to companies that can balance genuine innovation with proven reliability, exactly the combination that Toyota perfected while the world watched Tesla's more dramatic but ultimately unsustainable performance. The next phase of this story is already unfolding as Toyota prepares to launch its solid-state battery technology, and other automakers desperately attempt to copy the hybrid strategy they previously mocked as outdated. The question now isn't whether Toyota outsmarted Tesla, but whether American automakers and policymakers will learn from this masterclass in strategic thinking before it's too late to recover from years of misguided electric vehicle investments that ignored market realities and consumer preferences in favor of environmental virtue signaling and stock market speculation.